Hey everybody, so we are finally back with another episode of Planet Coaster, and today we will be starting the first episode of my Six Flags Great Adventure Recreation series. So this I actually started when I first got the game. I wanted to recreate stuff in real life because I thought that'd be pretty cool, and I like riding rides, so I thought I wanted to recreate stuff. So I made this back in March or May, or I started it over a year ago. And I hadn't really touched it until like since March until now. So I really wanted to get this started, and yeah. So you saw the way I started there. I already have some stuff remade from the park, which honestly, I mean, it's fine. It looks good, but it's kind of basic. Like you can see the trees just lined up in a line, just right back against each other. And it's just straight, basically. So I get rid of a lot of stuff, and I did a lot of testing for this park. But so you saw I changed the park boundaries because this park is actually very big. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to fit it in the Planet Coaster map, but I'm gonna try to get there. It'll be close. I'm not exactly sure if I'll make it, but you can see I started to work on the entrance spots, and I haven't actually changed anything up yet. That will change as eventually all of this basically gets deleted. I get rid of a lot of things because either I just don't like the way it looks, or I want to get in scale. So I've actually, in the middle of this episode, I watched a little bit of Oprah. Hopefully I pronounced that right. But the way he does his rides, he does a lot of recreations, and he really just does, like a billboard method through Photoshop, and he makes a whole map in there and scales it and stuff. I tried to do that. I've never used Photoshop before. I'll be honest with that. I've never used it before, and I tried it, and that did not go so well. I tried to do it, and it didn't really work, or I wasn't very good at it, and I tried to do it the maps that he does. If you've seen his Baron 1898 recreation, it's phenomenal. He just started a Terran recreation, but I've been trying to do... I tried to do the Photoshop thing, but it didn't work. I couldn't figure it out, and I watched a couple tutorials and stuff, but just overall, I just couldn't do it. So you can see here, I'm deciding, alright, you know what, we need to scrap this a little bit, kind of. So everything wasn't exactly like straight, so I'm trying to make stuff straight here, and you can see I'm like deciding what to keep and what to get rid of. So I really like this entrance. I like the way it looks. It's like the real entrance in real life. So I decided to keep it. And I also end up keeping I keep the planter, and I keep like the main street, and then the back two buildings, which is a market, a shop, and like guest services. So I end up keeping that. But I edit a couple things, like I redo the entrance, and I redo the planter and stuff like that. So yeah, as I said, I did a lot of testing. I went on Google Maps. I tried a Photoshop technique, as I said, but really I went to Google Maps and just measured distances and converted it to meters, since like that's what this whole park, that's what Planet Coaster is basically, in all meters. So I just saw like the scale and stuff of things, and I realized that how much all my stuff is out of scale. Like it was kind of crazy because like, so the information building, it doesn't look that big, but if you were to, it doesn't look that big in the game, but if you were to compare that to real life, that was almost like twice the size of the actual building. That may be an exaggeration, but it was much bigger than I thought it would be. So you can see I'm like putting the paths down here. This all gets scrapped. I wanted to get the park in, and I realized that the park was bigger than I had expected. So really I had to put the park entrance in another spot. I still don't know if it'll fit, but I tried to make it to the point where the park expands to the very corners, because that's the longest length throughout the entire map. I'm not exactly sure if I got it. but I'm trying to fit in as much as I can. I'm not exactly sure how much I'm gonna get, but I'm hoping I can get as much as possible. Because, I mean, Great Adventure is the second largest park in the world, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's pretty freaking big. I'm pretty sure the second largest behind Animal Kingdom, and that's probably because it also has a safari. I will not be doing the safari in this. I'm not doing that. But really, in general, like, the park is still very big for an amusement park. So it'll be a challenge to fit it all in this area, but I think, you know, it'll be interesting to see if I can get it. And if I do, that would be pretty cool, as this, I mean, this is, as I've said many times before, this is my home park, and I love this park. It's really good, and I think being able to recreate it in this game would be very, very fun, which is what I'm going for. So you can see I'm building here. If any of you have ever been there, they have like a little billboard kind of advertising station right here, so I'm building that, and I actually use the in-game billboards, and I do put real billboards there, which I got from the website. Hopefully that's not copyrighted or anything, but I got the Cyborg Cyberspin new advertisement, and I also did the little season pass advertisement there too. So I went to put the billboard in. It was a little too small, so I had simple readjustments of everything. Not too big a deal, but I just did that, and that pretty much wraps it up for that little building. So after I built this, I put a little bit of I had an idea. I decided I really wanted to make the park in the order it's built in. Obviously, I didn't do that. That's in the middle. If any of you follow me on Twitter, I did tweet it one night. By the way, follow me on Twitter at @MadDwarfNYT. Put the link in the description. But I wanted to make this in the order that it has been built. So like the park opened in 1974. So I would build what the park is like in 1974, and then expand, then make that an episode. Then the next episode do 1975. Then next 1976, 1977, so on and so forth until 2018, which I think would be pretty cool, because then I would end up with a finished park. But I looked at it, I started to try to do it, but it was really stinking hard. It was just hard to do in general, because especially in 1974, I mean, it's almost a full-on park. So I tried to do it, but I felt like it was just easier just to start from the beginning with the whole park layout and stuff, just because it would just be easier. Because you're just starting from the beginning, I can just expand out whichever way I want, rather than just building a whole park with risking the chance of not having enough room in the end. So I tried to do that. I tried to do it. I was going to. That's why I'm building the fountain here, because the fountain was like in the middle. So I was thinking, all right, maybe I can build the fountain in the middle, place that, and then expand off of that. It didn't. Like I said, this episode just been this episode just been a lot of testing and trying and hoping everything will work. But I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do a classic regular recreation. I'm just gonna build it just the way it is right now. Just a lot of scaling. I did this fountain. I at first was gonna use real water, but then it didn't really work, so I ended up just using a fountain, like one of the in-game fountains. And I had so many issues with it as I was building this, and I'm building this, I finished this bottom, and then I realized I put the water in, and I realized that the bottom was tilted. So I ended up having to redo the whole bottom and stuff, and I just did a lot of stuff off screen, because I really realized that I feel like my computer the game has gotten better with frame rate and stuff. Maybe that's because there's not as much stuff in this park as like the holiday park, but really, I feel like the frame rate has been much better, and I often just loved the frame rate and just kept building, and I forgot to click the record button, but that is a-okay. So I did the little fountain here. I tried to do circles, because in real life they have like a circle around this, but it was hard. So you can see I did a little bit of the fountain, not much. I just used one of the, here I don't think there's actually any water in there. I think everything's just floating. But I tried to just use like one of like the splash ripple effects things to just make it look like there's a whole fountain in there. Then here I am. I'm going at the bottom again. And again, something else happened. I don't know, but it was tilted. You can see I'm checking here. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And it was tilted again. Yay! So I end up just redoing this whole thing. I used the no clip and basically just did it. So you can see I did a little bit of terrain painting to estimate how long the main street was. And center it. Again, it didn't work. I ended up deleting all this because I didn't have the scale. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up. So what I do get done in this episode, since a lot of the stuff you've seen gets deleted, I did finish this. I did the fountain. I have the fountain done. It looks good. I think it does. And I did that. So I redo the info stand, and you're seeing I'm trying to see how long the main street is, and I realized, geez, that's really big. Again, scale in this game is very hard, so I moved it closer, and yeah, it'll probably get moved again because I just don't have the complete scale of the whole park yet. I've been using Google Maps for that, and yeah, so I tried to expand the park boundaries a little bit just to get everything, because everything has to fit. That's the one big problem I'm having with this, because the park is so big. But anyway, back to what I was saying before. What I do get done in this episode, I redo. So I keep for the information stand. There's many different points, or there's different like kiosks, not kiosks, like stands for the information. Well, in the game you would buy priority passes there, but so I had them, and honestly they weren't the best. They weren't the most detailed. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna. So I like the centerpiece, the center part of it. I like that. I like the way it looked, and I kept it. But other than that, for all the other mini, because the way the info stand is, it has a bigger middle part and then all little stands to the left and right of it. So I kept the middle one. I still think I have to redo the roof on that now that I'm thinking back on it, because I did custom roofs for all the other ones, but I redid the whole building for really the other things. So as I'm doing here, I still want to continue my plan, or I wanted to continue my plan to do the whole park and stuff. So really that path would go to the Ferris wheel. Then I tried it out. I didn't know how far it would be, and really it just didn't work out. So finally, here we go. I made a big cut. I moved everything to another corner of the map. It's all different. I scaled it all. You saw I shrunk the front planter there, and now I'm getting rid of this main building here. It was all in separate buildings, and I didn't really like that. So here we go. You saw I saved the main building. I still have to redo the roof on that since the roof's kind of weird. I don't know what I was doing, but I was trying to recreate the in-game roofs. This was before I knew like the whole spire dome method thing. I don't know, but it was just I still wasn't great at the game when I started. So as usual, but I tried to just I tried to make the custom roof, but I didn't know how to because we didn't have many good pieces in the game. I wasn't very good at custom roofs and all of that. So in the end, I just ended up redoing it, and now that I've gotten better at the game, I did a full-on custom roof. So you saw I used the tiles, 4 meter tiles to just measure out the building and just to get it in scale. And there's many times I go back and forth, I try to do the paths, but I ended up just doing one of these information tabs, which really wasn't that hard because I already knew what it looked like, and I basically just copied it off the center stand. But I did all that, and really the only major difference with it is I did the custom roof. It's a weird roof, but it's like curved, so I really like the way it came out. I've only done spires. I've never done like curved spires or anything like that. I've only done straight spires, but I like the way it looks. It looks good in my opinion. It looks realistic, it looks semi-realistic like the one in real life, but really for the most part I like the way it came out. So there's a lot of just fine-tuning here. I'm just trying to make it as small as possible to be able to fit the paths in between, and honestly it wasn't easy. I tried to redo these little wall things here. I don't know what I was doing. I wanted to redo that later. But yeah, I just go to redo a lot. I went to redo a lot of the building, but I decided, okay, I'm just gonna do these little rectangles here, and I like the way that came out. It looks better because I was using a roof siding piece. But yeah, for the most part, really, I just keep redoing this stuff. And here we go, starting on the custom roof. This is basically the last thing I do in this episode. So the curved roof is really, it's not this curved, it really just curves down and then goes flat. But I wanted to keep it like a consistent curve, and the way it looked, I don't know, I couldn't really decide. Well, I wanted to, but it wasn't big enough. Like the height of the actual spire would have been too small. So at first I went to use this thick wooden beam piece for the roof, but I did a couple rows with it, and I didn't really like the look of it. It didn't look like it looked like it's plastic. It didn't look like real wood, which is kind of the look I was going for. So I ended up switching it. I'm looking for pieces here. I ended up switching it to this wooden pillar, which has more of a wooden texture, which I liked. So I did that, and I really just did overall hedges around the area, put a little bit of roofs in, and really the remainder of this episode just me doing this custom roof and then copying it to the other information stands. I do get the pathing done, I believe, around the area. I still probably have to fine tune it because it's harder to make. It depends. I feel like sometimes it's harder to make stuff in real life rather than just letting your mind go wild, because you want to make things look a certain way if it's in real life. You want to make it look real, rather than when you're just making stuff, you can pick whatever piece you want and just do it however you want. So I try to get, really, I don't think in life their dome isn't this weird or curved or whatever, but overall, I think I did well with it. It looks good in my opinion, and yeah, for the most part, I really like the way it came out. So I'm just copying this around the typical spire method. If you don't know how to do it, I believe Silver has a good tutorial on it. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. So I'm just copying over the buildings now. Just copy and paste, simple. And this is when I had the biggest problem I've had with this game, or at least in this part of the episode. In this episode was by far the paths. The paths in this game frustrate me. It's just, I don't get it, like, because, also again, as Silver has said in the past, he also has a pathing tutorial, so you can check that out if you want. But really, in theme parks, paths are the base layer of parks. It's not like there's ground and then, like, in the game makes you, in a way, think that paths are like kind of like just a path to lead you somewhere, while in real life paths are these big blobs of concrete on the ground that can just take you to areas, and they're everywhere. Honestly, paths are really everywhere. And so the biggest problem I had with this was that the grid was on two different sections. So I did actually make it a little smaller. I just moved the information stand up a little bit. But really, the paths in this game just frustrate me sometimes. It's just so hard to get it the way especially when you're copying something, it's just so hard to get it the way you want it to look. And like, really, I like using the grid. It makes stuff more organized, especially the paths, because I like the paths to be organized and stuff. But this was the biggest struggle I had with this whole episode. This one part right here where I'm trying to get the little, I'm trying to get the paths in between to connect to both the shops and the regular path too, and it was just a struggle. And really, I mean, if they could fix any path issues, that would be really great, but I doubt that will happen. But yeah, I just pretty much just finish up the paths. I know it looks a little weird there, but I end up getting it done. And overall, I just have to do scenery. Next episode, I'll do a bunch of scenery around the entrance. Hopefully I'll start on the main street. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for now. So I will see you guys in the next episode. And have a good day, good night, whatever. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.